Have you tried a salad spinner for making colorful backgrounds and die cuts in your card making? I just discovered the technique and I'm having so much fun that this is the third video and bunch of cards in my salad spinner series. Hello and welcome to Karen's Creative Cards on YouTube. I am Karen Hashik, and if you missed my two previous videos, there are links in the description box to them. In this video, I am sharing cards made with both black and white watercolor paper, several different types of watercolor powders, and many different favorite dyes and specialty papers. I recently purchased some specialty papers from Stampin' Up, and my favorites were in a pack of ombre specialty papers with a subtle glitter as on this card. So there was all different colors. You're going to see three of them today, and this one had the kind of pink to peach in the ombre changing of colors. And I die cut the back layer of a birch press design layered petal heart from a piece of black watercolor paper I spun with Lindy's Magicals and Ken Oliver's liquid metals for a piece like this one. So I'm going to show you how I did this, and this was in the second video using black watercolor paper and those products, and this is like if you're going to use the whole background, but I cut out the die cuts for this video, so it's kind of hard to see, but it's very subtle but really pretty change of colors in the back piece of that layered die. And then I also punched out a couple hearts here to create this card. I did the same with the butterflies on this card. I'm using another specialty paper from Stampin' Up for the background, and the background, the first layer of this butterfly is with that black sparkly paper, and so is this small butterfly here. All the details, of course, on all these cards will be on my blog, and links are in the description box to the blog post along with all the products featured. So here's another layered birch press designs die, and I only used one layer over a gold specialty paper from Stampin' Up. It's really hard to see, but it's so much prettier in real life, but along that there's areas of kind of gold and green and sparkle on that black over the gold background. Now, as I've shown in the two previous videos, and I'll share again in this one, we can choose either white watercolor paper or black watercolor paper, and there's different watercolor powders for different looks in the salad spinner. So the flowers and the greens on this card were all cut out with a new set from Betty Manning and Dies to Die For out of white watercolor paper colored with Colourcraft Brushos. So each flower is a different color, and then the greens too. Can you see how they change colors? You could never do that with, I don't know, any other products, I think, but I love how this card turned out. And then on this one, I created a rainbow of colors with Brushos, and then I die cut that rainbow out with Hero Arts Butterfly Confetti die over colored sparkly vellum from Stampin' Up. So they came out with a new line of vellum papers that you can see through, but they're colored and they're sparkly. So that's the background on this, and I just attached it to a card front for that card there. This is my favorite of the cards that I created, and I'm going to make a version of it in this video. I used both the black and white watercolor paper and many different products to create this awesome layered flower and the butterflies and the sentiments. So I die cut all of them out of the paper I created. The flower there is made with the Vivid Bloom stitched layer set from Birch Press Designs, and I'm going to use that on the one I create. And then the butterflies were made out of this Hero Arts Butterfly Confetti Fancy die that last card I showed you had as the background, but you can just take some of the butterflies that come out and put them on the card, and they are very pretty colored with that salad spun paper. And then the sentiment that I'm going to use on the card I'm going to make is birthday wishes from dies to die for. So those are the products that we're going to use in the card that we're going to make, and it's going to be similar to this one. That's another one of those ombre specialty papers from Stampin' Up! And in the blues, and I'm going to use a different color for the card I'm going to make. So we're going to start with a salad spinner. As I explained in the videos that I've already done, I first tried a smaller one and that didn't really work. You want a piece that's going to lay nice in the bottom flat. And I am going to use, I'm going to have to stand up eventually, but I'm going to use the Brushos, which are Colourcraft Brusho colors, which are watercolor powders, and I'm going to use the Ostwald blue. It's one of my favorites. You'll see it's a combination of blues and purples and the violet and the turquoise to create one of the papers that we're going to use in this. Now, to do this, I need to stand up. I'm going to take a water spritzer and I'm going to spritz this watercolor paper pretty well. I have some more expensive watercolor papers, and then I bought some less expensive ones because this technique works on so far in my opinion, even the cheapest watercolor paper. The point is that you don't want it to soak in. So I put a link in the description back to the less expensive ones, especially if we're going to do this with kids, but even I've just been using a lot of it. So you don't need real fancy expensive watercolor papers to do this. So I am going to sprinkle this Ostwald blue. That's a German word, and I'm going to guess that it means a mix, because just look at that mix that comes out. Isn't that gorgeous? And then I'm going to put a little more of the violet, because I kind of want the purples to be the main colors of this. And then I like a little turquoise in there too, so just a little bit. And then you want to spritz it pretty good. You need it to be liquid to actually spin. The liquid is what spins. So I'm going to spritz it again, get it pretty wet, and then I'm going to close it and push it. Each time you do it comes out different. It's just really fun to do. So look at that. Isn't that pretty? And like I said, every time it's different. If you want more white to be shown, you can use less powder or less liquid. I love that look, but again, you can make it more spun by maybe using a little less of the powder on there. But that just has to dry. I've been spraying most of mine then with the glitter dust from Thermoweb, and it gets an even extra shimmer on there. But that again, of course, is optional. Then we're going to do a black piece, and this is just black watercolor paper. And what I've discovered works really well with the black are Lindy's Magicals. I'm going to use Prima Donna Purple and High Maintenance Magenta and Sassy Sapphire, and these are all from the Drop Dead Diva collection of Magicals. They come in, I think, a package of 5, I think, and these happen to be from the same set. And then I'm also using Ken Oliver's, I'm assuming you can see this, Ken Oliver's Liquid Metals in the metallic quartz and the liquid gold and the metallic rose. So once again, we're going to spritz the watercolor paper, get it pretty wet, and then to drop these on, I'm going to use just a little cheap paintbrush and pick up a little of the color. It doesn't really transfer from one to another, but I just take a little bit off with the paper towel. I just like a little turquoise in there too for interest. Now if you just use these in water, you'd have a much more, a subtle, real subtle background that's very pretty, but I do like the vivid, vibrant colors of the liquid metals, so I'm going to drop some of those on. And then, once again, I'm going to spritz it with water. Get it pretty wet. Close the salad spinner. Give it a spin. And once again, we have a brilliantly colored, beautiful background that I'm going to just die cut right out of. But you could use that for a galaxy background. You could add a little more color if you wanted to. I don't think it dries even brighter than what is shown here. So really, really pretty. Close these up so I don't spill them. That would be a shame. So I have already done that part of it. They have to dry, so I did some in advance. And I took that layered stitched flower and I die cut the biggest and then the third biggest and then the next one out of the black piece that has the metallic shine, and then this piece, and this piece were cut out of the blue and purple, and I have put two together for the bottom layer of the flower, and then I repeated that. This is the next black and the next blue, and each one of these is going to be raised, and then of course the centers of them. So we have our black salad spun backgrounds are blue and purple, and it's going to be placed on another one of those Stampin' Up! Specialty ombre papers, this time in the very light purple to the darker purple. I die cut the birthday wishes from Dies to Die For out of another piece of that paper that we did, and I even have the eyes dotted with tiny little butterflies from the Hero Arts Confetti. So this one is going to be attached flat, and then each layer is going to be raised, and I've put some score tape on the back here. I just used regular tape to hold these two together. So that seemed to work the best. Okay, so we're going to put it up here. And the second layer I put together again with regular tape, and then I'm raising it up with Motion Crafts skinny foam strips. I use those quite often. They are a really good small size to raise things up with. Good for shaker cards and a lot of things. In this case, I'm just putting it on the corner of the petals to raise these up together. So now we have the next layer, which has been raised up. And then the third layer is the two together on two pop dots, because we needed it pretty high to be raised above all three of those, or above the first two. So that in itself is really, really pretty, isn't it? I just love the changing of colors in there. I have a whole plate here of butterflies that I made with that Hero Arts Confetti die that I showed you. And so, and they're all, this whole bunch here is in those purples and blues. So we're going to add some of those to our card. Thought that one would look pretty there. And then 4 different ones. I think I want a smaller one. Do I want a smaller one maybe? All different sizes and colors that we can choose from there. I'm going to attach those with glue dots. This ombre sparkly paper and this prepared watercolor paper doesn't stick real well. So this bottom one, these sentiments, I used my Easy Cut adhesive sheets to attach that and have it stay very well. But glue dots work pretty good too. One more. And then I almost always, when I add butterflies, decide, whoop, I need one more glue dot, don't I? On the middle there. Add my favorite gems from Gina Marie Designs. I don't know, it just seems like there's a law that butterflies should have gems most of the time. And when we're using this much color, I like to just use the clear ones. They add a little bit of sparkle in there, but don't take away from the beautiful color that we've created. So there's a clear gem for each one of the butterflies. Try a medium one on that butterfly, I think. Small. That's another reason I really like these gems, is they come in large, medium, and small. So you always can choose the perfect size. So, big fan. So our birthday wishes, beautiful ombre colored card with our flower that's being raised up in the different blacks and purples and blue colors, made with salad spinning, and our butterflies. The card is complete. I love how all these cards have turned out. These are my two favorites. As you can see, I hope that my video and examples encourage you to try some crafty salad spinning and the products shown. Thanks for watching, sharing, and subscribing, and thanks too for helping me share the joy of creativity.